Yeah, I usually like to post once a week, but I have been on this journey of studying Revelations. And anyway, I just wanted to show you a few things I think was interesting. But I do want to go over the one last thing I rushed last time. In Revelation, there's a clue here as to when the believers are going to be in heaven. But first, let me talk about you have to overcome. Revelations 21:7. Now, I know Revelations 2 and 3 talk about overcoming, that the people in the church, they have issues and they need to overcome them, and it talks about that. This just kind of gives you a glimpse into all the chapters 2 and 3, Revelations 2 and 3. He that overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, in other words, that lack faith, the unbelieving, the faithless, the abominable, the disgusting, the murderers, which have intent, the whoremongers, which are fornicators, the sorcerers, those that are addicted to anything that alters their mind, drugs, alcohol, the idolaters, these are people that work solely for material rewards. All liars, they shall have their part in the lake of fire and brimstone, and this is the second death. But the clue that I had started me off on this quest was Revelations 21:9. And there came unto me the 7 angels that had 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues. And he talked with me, and he said, "Come here, I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife." And he carried me away in spirit to the great high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven. And it went on to talk about what it looked like. But I said, that is really interesting. So before the 7 last plagues, or the 7 vials, are delivered on earth, we won't be here. We'll be in heaven. That's what this is saying. So I start really researching. I spent the past 2 weeks, that's why I haven't put a video out, just researching. I took my whole big dining room table and I just spread out for the past 2 weeks trying to wrap my head around this. But it's so difficult to figure out. But what it seems like to me is that John had gotten these different visions, and it was kind of like as if you have a movie, and the movie is showing you different people in the movie, and they each have different versions of what's going to happen, and it all kind of merges together. That's what it seems like to me in Revelations. But I did learn a couple things which I thought was interesting. One of the clues is, before we are raptured, is the 144,000. And that you can find in Revelations 7:1-4, Revelations 9:4, Revelations 14:1-3, and Ezekiel 9:4. And I want to read it to you because I think it's very fascinating, because this is what's going to happen before we are taken. So Revelation 7:1-4 says, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing in the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, and that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees. And I saw another angel ascending out of the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels who was given to hurt the earth and the sea. And he said, Hurt not the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads." In their foreheads. That means they have the mind of Christ, and they are thinking on him. "And I heard the number of which that were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000, all the tribes of Israel, all the tribes of the children of Israel." And it talks about the 12 different tribes. Interesting enough, I noticed that the tribe of Dan was not in there. And I looked up all the places where the tribe of Dan was, and it was Israel, Palestine, Judea, Canaan. So I thought, that's interesting. Anyway, after And the 144,000 are strictly young men, no women. So after the 144 are sealed and in heaven, because it says they follow Jesus around, that then the great multitude, which no man could number. So the 144,000 are the first fruits, and they get to leave first. And then all nations, kindreds, tongues, people are before the Lamb of God right after that. So that I think is interesting. How I know it's young men only is in Revelations 14, 1 through 3. It says, "And I looked, and behold, the Lamb that stood on Zion, with him 144,000, having the Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard the voice of heaven as the voice of many waters," and harps and all that. I'm kind of hurrying. "And they sung a new song, and they were before the four beasts," which I'll get into the four beasts in a minute. "And they were redeemed from the earth." That's why I say they're raptured. "These are the ones that are not defiled with women. They are virgins." That's chapter 14, verse 4 in Revelations. So that's why I say that and it says here, "These are the redeemed among men," not women, men, "being the first fruits unto God, to the Lamb." Interesting. Now, are they going to help usher in the rest of us? Maybe. So I thought that was interesting. And then in verse 9, it talks about mark of the beast and in the forehead. But anyway, so I wanted to share that. That was one thing. And also in Ezekiel 9:4, it says, "Go through the midst of the city in Jerusalem, set a mark on their foreheads that weep and cry for all the abominations that are being done in the midst." So that kind of leads me to believe it's strictly Jews, but the 144,000. But there are a lot of controversy on that. So there's nobody that seems to be in agreement to that. Now about them, the 144,000 being the first fruits, that you'll find in 1 Corinthians 15:20 and 16:15. And I looked up the Greek word first fruits, and it's the Greek word 536. It says Jewish, an offering of first fruits, chief principal part, the earliest ripe of the crop or the tree, term applied in things spiritual with believers as first fruits of the harvest of the cross. So the first fruits, to me, what it's saying to me, it's the 144,000. They go first, and then we go. That's what it sounds like to me. You can do your own research on that, come up with your own thoughts on that. In Luke 21:35 and 36, Jesus said, "For a snare shall come unto all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." Revelations 12:12 through 13. "Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows his time is short. And when the dragon saw that he was cast down to the earth, he persecuted the woman," which depicts Israel, "which brought forth the man-child." So I thought all of us, we need to be a little uncomfortable here. We all need to be prepared, and we all need to be found worthy. But okay, so I want to talk about the four beasts and the 24 elders, because they are spoken of, that we're going to be in front of them. And let's see, that would be Revelations 4:4, 10, Revelations 5:14, Revelations 11:16, and Revelations 19:4. The elders, when I looked up what elders means, it says a celestial council. All men and women, elders, a person advanced in life, senior, forefathers in Israel, women in the church, seniority of age, position, rank, responsibility, maturity of spiritual experience. They cast their crowns before the throne. But I'm not sure about that either, because it's a celestial council. So is that a council that's strictly that haven't lived here on earth? I don't know. I guess I could dig into that more. I don't know that I would find more on that. But Revelation 6:1, the four beasts that they show what's going on. And what is interesting about the four beasts that I find interesting is the four beasts, and a lot of times people say, are animals going to be in heaven? Well, the Lord has animals around his throne. That's who these beasts are. But here's one thing I found that was interesting. 3 times these four beasts are described. They're cherubs. You can find them in Ezekiel 1:4, Ezekiel 1:4 through 10, Ezekiel 10:14, and Revelations 4:7. You will find them again in other parts of Revelations, but they don't describe them. So I'm only talking about the ones that they describe. Here's what I find interesting, is that all 3 times that they describe them, there is the face of a man, a face of a lion, and a face of an eagle. All 3 have those same exact descriptions. However, there are 3 descriptions that are a little bit different, and that would be the face of an ox, a face of a cherub, and a face like a calf. So, all right, I'll go over this again. All 3 descriptions have a face of a man, face of a lion, face of an eagle. One says a face of an ox, the other one says a face like a calf, and the other one says a face like a cherub, which makes me wonder if this cherub kind of looks like a cow or an ox or a calf. So I thought that was interesting. So I just thought I would share that. You can look it up. Ezekiel 1:4 through 10, Ezekiel 10:14, and Revelations 4:7. Another thing I thought was interesting, I also read the Apocrypha, and if you don't know what an Apocrypha is, okay, back in the day when they would write all the writings, they would put them in what was called a canon, kind of like a library of all their scrolls, and it was called a canon. And the Jews would pray, the priests, they would pray, and they would put together the Bible. But when I looked up a Bible that I have from the early 1800s, it also had the Apocrypha in it. Well, we don't have the Apocrypha anymore in the Bible, so I'm not quite sure why that's not in there. But what I read about the rapture, it was Apocrypha, page 381. I can show you later which Apocrypha it is, but there's a lot of things. The stories in the Apocrypha are pretty much parallel to what the Bible says. If there's any discrepancy, then you believe the Bible, because it's just different people giving their description on what happened. But I thought this was interesting. It says, whoever remains after all shall be saved, and see my salvation. They shall see men taken up who from their birth have not tasted death. Earth's inhabitants shall be changed and converted to a different spirit. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But for the evil, they will be blotted out. Anyway, Revelations 18:4 says, "Come out of her, my people, that you may not partake of her sins, that you are not receiver of her plagues." Revelations 18:8 and 9, 17 and 19. Her plagues come in one day, in 1 hour. Revelations 12:5 is caught up to God, to his throne. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, there's a lot of different things. I don't want to take up too much time, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Oh, and the brethren. Last time I mentioned about the brethren. Let me see if I have it here. I have so many notes. I may have to go over that later because I didn't put it in here. Yeah, I'll go over that another time, but if you get a chance, read over those scriptures. I find it very interesting, and I hope you did too. Thanks for listening.